Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be launching a new development mission aimed at particularly vulnerable tribal groups under his several schemes programs which are designed to provide amenities, roads and telecom connectivity and also improved access to education, healthcare and nutrition to marginalized tribal people. These schemes will launch today on the birth anniversary of tribal icon Birsa Munda. In just a short while from now, we are expecting Prime Minister Modi to visit Birsa Munda's village in Jharkhand to launch these schemes. My colleague Akshat with us on the broadcast. We also have Himanshu Bhatt with us. Akshat, if you can take our viewers through the details as far as this scheme is concerned.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be launching a new development mission which aims at particularly vulnerable tribal groups today. If I tell you about the details, then it is designed to provide amenities, road and telecom connectivity and improved access to education, healthcare and nutrition to the marginalized people. This will also be launched on the birth anniversary of tribal icon Birsa Munda, and a day also which is celebrated as the Jan Jatiya Gaurav Divas to honor the contribution of freedom fighters who hailed from tribal communities. And according to the details, it is the first of its kind mission which aims at improving the socio-economic conditions of the marginalized people and is pegged at 24,000 crores and was announced during the annual budget in 2023 to 2024. Well, the mission will be launched days ahead of voting in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Telangana and large swaths of Chhattisgarh, and is also expected to bolster BJP's outreach towards the tribal communities that are considered as an important electoral group when it comes to elections. And the party has also been trying to woo the tribal communities that make up for about 8.6% of the electorate in the country with social welfare schemes that offer targeted intervention such as programs to eradicate sickle cell anemia, which is prevalent in the tribal dominated areas. The data also showed that that marginalized people number about 2.8 million and are spread across 22,000 villages in 18 states and union territories, and this mission will additionally ensure that the saturation of schemes such as the PM Jan Arogya Yojana, sickle cell disease elimination, immunization program and Jan Dhan Yojana and among others.
Okay, Akshat, stay on with us. Himanshu Bhatt with us on the broadcast. A very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us this early morning to discuss a very important development that's taking place. Now, this is, of course, not happening in one of the poll-bound states, but we are just a few months away from the general elections, and the Prime Minister has chosen the state of Jharkhand to be visited today, particularly the village of tribal icon Birsa Munda, to launch a slew of schemes for the tribal group. How do you view these developments, sir?
Yes, sir. This way developments, should have come a few years ago. It was coming, but now it has finally come. That's the way I look at it. The reason for that basically is tribals in India constitute about 10% of the total population. Otherwise, the population is about 14 to 16% of the electorate voters. When you look at the voters count, it's about 10 to 11% totally. And Narendra Bhai Modi has already seen, before he became the chief minister of the Gujarat state, he has worked extensively in the tribal areas of dance. And he exactly knows what the problems are. That is why when he said, that for 60 years they have been paid just a lip service and nothing else. They've been considered as a vote bank. Reaching and having an access to these tribal areas, the basic amenities, what we talk of. Water, drainage, electricity. These basic amenities, after 75 years of independence, when it has not reached a particular area of the country, it's shameful on our governance. And this is what primarily has to be done. Whether poll-bound or not poll-bound is a different issue. Birsa Munda's place is in Jharkhand. We all know that. But this particular scheme is going to have an effect in about 18 to 20 states. And in quite a few states, it constitutes about 15% of the vote bank. Providing them with the basic things is an utmost necessity today. For Indian growth, for our Bharat's growth, if we want to grow into a third biggest economy, they will have to contribute to this. And this contribution will come up only if they are being provided with the basic facilities and amenities. Just imagine having a place in India where there is no connectivity. In this 21st century, when India is the fifth largest economy of the world, can we imagine a place? But there are places where there is absolutely no connectivity. And that's why such schemes, welfare schemes, which looks after the health. Our report, said, sickle cell anemia, I think. That is what he was referring to.
Yes.
This happens even today. When we boast of so many things, why this is happening? Because nobody has worked on that for about 7 decades. We have ignored them. When the election comes, some big leader goes to a tribal area of a state, makes tall promises of this and that and all, but on ground there's nothing visible. Just their votes are taken. And that is why, such a program holds a huge significance in a democratic country. And half of those schemes are implemented in 3 to 5 years' time. We will see a colossal change, I would say, if these areas are properly tapped. And at least not urban, but they become urban areas from tribal areas. That is what I feel, should be done. And to that, this particular scheme is going to be a very, very, very important thing. Yes.
Absolutely. And Mr. Bhatt, if you could shed some more light on why this is vital. The Prime Minister, of course, has said that in the past 70 years, there has been no political party that has paid any heed whatsoever to the development of tribals. What is it that what potential have we left untapped because we've not managed to, like you said, even ensure that basic amenities, which are so common now for the everyday Indian, those amenities have also perhaps not reached some of these tribal areas. What were the fears earlier, and how do you think the BJP will then manage to somewhere assuage these fears that tribal communities have had for a very long time? I would not say that political parties have not tried in the past, they perhaps have, but we have always seen that there has been some sort of a resistance from tribal communities in terms of them feeling that their way of life could possibly be taken away, could be altered drastically. How do you think the BJP will then manage?
I'll tell you. I'll give you an example and try and explain this. What used to happen in the country, in the tribal areas, is there used to be some missionary forces going on working for people. Some missionaries went there, but instead of helping, they did. They provided some schools, basic schools, basic hospitals. But along with that, they tried to change their lifestyle by converting them. Now, this phase went on for quite a few years after independence. And the result of that was the tribals started resisting this. They consider anything and everything that comes from outside is not good. Because they had the typical ways of lifestyle. They basically lived on nature. They lived on an economy of exchange, a barter system economy. If someone grew some dhan, Shri Anna, what we call today. Someone grew that, he gave it to the other person. Other person, if he had, wood, he gave it to him to build his house. That is the way economy functioned. But then this, introduction of missionaries to quite a few tribal parts resulted into some conversions and disturbances in the tribal society. After that, what we had was, in Gujarat, we have very, very, very hugely witnessed this 20-25 years ago. There used to be some, Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh and Vishwa Hindu Parishad branches were opened. Now they also started giving the similar sort of services. Healthcare, basic education. And this fight started. In that, the ultimate sufferer was in this political slugfest. I'll call it a political slugfest. On one party was trying to, incite them to something else. Another party was trying to do something else. In this slugfest, the tribal person suffered. So, what actually Narendra Bhai did was, before he became the chief minister, before he became a big name, very few might know that he was a Swayam Sevak. And he has worked very, very extensively in the areas of dam, where he used to live with those people, understand their problem, because that's his mission. That was his mission at that time also. So in Gujarat, when he became a CM, probably in the first few years, he came out with a simple policy. Vanvasi Kalyan. See, Vanvasi, he never said tribals, he never said Adivasi. People who live in one are Vanvasis. There might be caste, subcaste, scheduled tribes, scheduled caste, all these things. They are the branches which we have made them. But Vanvasi Kalyan. Now Vanvasi Kalyan was a holistic approach. And the land where they lived from years, hundreds of years, that belongs to them. This is what Gujarat government did initially.
Okay.
And that paved way. So this is the way, you have to integrate them first to the mainstream. And once they are integrated, after that you can take them a notch further.
Okay.
First, the process of integration has to start.
All right.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.